Those three H's, if you follow up on those three H's and do your research around those three H's, you will find a lot of success in this business. And the three things that are going to make sure that your places are booked year-round. Out of the mindset that all of the money needs to come in your pocket. Short-term rental is a game of scale, right? You're not trying to get rich off of one property. If you have that mindset, you will fail. To be safe, $1,000 to $2,000 a month worth of additional money above your rent or your mortgage. If you're not in that situation, you're basically you're looking for a bad situation to happen. Today I want to talk about the top 3 reasons why short-term rental operators fail. That's right, the top 3 reasons. And if you stick around to the end, I'll give you a bonus thing as far as what you could do to ensure your business makes it. We'll get there. All right. The first reason is folks don't do enough market research. They want to go in these sexy places, right? They want to go into Florida. They want to go in these really dense, high traveled markets, right? That is good. You can make money in those markets, but the thing about those markets it's going to be more competitive. There's more people that are just like you there. There's the professional hosts that have already been there and have a stranglehold on the footprint of that area for years and years and years. And that's who you're going to be up against. So you're going to be trying to establish yourself as a new property. And I will say that Airbnb does a good job, and of the other platforms, of promoting the brand new properties. But the problem is you're in competition with these other folks that are way more established, that already have reviews on their site. People sometimes are wary about going to properties that don't have reviews. Folks like to go on and see the latest reviews. They want to see about your property because that is the #1 indicator on if they could potentially like the property, is reviews. So you're going to come in a brand new property without reviews, going against a lot of people that have reviews. Now you will get the person who may want to take advantage of the introductory 20% discount that generally happens with Airbnb when somebody lists a new property. So that could draw people into you. So I'm not saying you won't get opportunities. I'm just saying your opportunities are just going to be lesser. So what I will say is do your research and make sure you understand your area. Don't try to get in these areas that are just based on people taking vacations. Those areas are overly saturated. Instead, focus on areas and the 3 things that are going to make sure that your places are booked year-round. The first one is it needs to be near a hotel. If your property is near a hotel, that means you don't have to do so much market research. Hotels are built in areas where people are coming. So that means you could use their marketing department and say, hey, listen, they built a hotel here. So most likely people are coming into this area that need to rent a hotel. You can definitely leverage that. The second one is highways. You always want to be close to highways because highways is connectivity. So what people see when they see highways is I could get places quicker. So when you're close to a highway, I know that things aren't going to be so far away. I can hop on a highway and I can get to certain things. And highways generally means that you're more in the city area. The third place, which is a dark horse, is hospitals. Hospitals constantly have people coming to visit patients. You know, you have sick loved ones that are in hospitals where people need to have somewhere to stay while they're visiting their hospital, their person in the hospital. Those 3 H's, if you follow up on those 3 H's and do your research around those 3 H's, you will find a lot of success in this business. The second reason as to why folks fail is bad guest experience. That's right. Bad guest experience will tank your short-term rental business. If you're out here and you're just basically setting people up and you're not creating an environment where your folks are going to you have to make sure that things are good, like communication. Folks need to know how they're going to check in. Be proactive with the communication. Your guests shouldn't have to ask you simple things like, how do I get into the property? You should come up with automations or get some automations that feed that information to your guests. Everything about the property should be fed to the customer. You rather give the customer more information than not information. The worst thing is for your customers to have to start, or your guests to have to start asking you questions about the property. Like, what is the Wi-Fi code? How do I check in? How do I get the keys? Simple things like that can easily be automated, and then your guests won't have to ask you those questions. Other thing is, make sure your photos actually match the listing. And I say this because it's a huge thing, especially over time as your short-term rental ages, right? So your property is inevitably gonna get a little bit beat up over time. Your couch isn't gonna look the way it used to. Things are gonna look a little bit different. Make sure your pictures are current and a current representation of your property. Not the pictures you took 2 years ago, right? The pictures, you need to refresh your pictures, and so folks can actually know what your property looks like. If you're in a situation where you don't want to refresh your pictures, that probably means that your property needs to be refreshed. The furniture needs to be refreshed. You should always be in a situation where your property is picture ready. If you feel like it's not picture ready, then you need to do something about your furniture. Don't be one of those folks that has tacky furniture, because that is what guests hate. They hate to come in properties and see places that are below par. It's going to create a bad experience for them, and it's going to give you a bad review. The other thing is, make sure you have good cleaners. You have to have good cleaners. Good cleaners is paramount to the guest experience. If you don't have good cleaners, it will destroy your business. There is nothing worse than a guest checking into your property and it is not clean. So make sure you have good cleaners that have good accountability, and you have good processes in place to follow up with your cleaners to ensure they're getting the job done. The third reason is you have the wrong mindset. You think Airbnb was just going to be a business where you could just set it and forget it. That is not the case, especially if you don't have a lot of automations in place. Now, there are ways to where you can make Airbnb, I would say, or short-term rentals, close to 90 to 95% automated. But there always is going to be some time where you need to participate in the rental. So make sure, if you don't have those automations in place, that you are an active participant in your unit. My recommendation is to get the automations in place, because what it will do is it will lessen your workload, and it will put you in a situation where you could actually have it as a business and not be working in your business, right? We want to try to create as much passive cash flow as possible, and if you have the automations built in, which don't cost a lot to invest in, it is definitely will pay for itself. It will make your life a whole lot easier. The other thing is all of the money can't go in your pocket. Man, I saw this young man the other day. He made a video about why he's given up on Airbnb, and he had a lot of valid reasons, but one thing that I heard him say is that he was zeroing out. You have to, if you don't do your research on the front end, you will be in a situation where you're zeroing out every month. You have to be in a situation where you're creating, I would say, to be safe, $1,000 to $2,000 a month worth of additional money above your rent or your mortgage. If you're not in that situation, you're basically you're looking for a bad situation to happen. You want to be in a situation where you're making that much money. And if you look into the three H's that I talked about at the beginning of this video, hotels, highways, and hospitals, you will definitely be in that situation. You don't have to be in the vacation areas, and you can still achieve that. So if you're in a situation where you're not sharing money with people, and what I mean by sharing money is you have to hire cleaners, you have to hire potentially property managers or some type of maintenance person who could respond if you're not there. You have to create the business to where you can basically share some of the profits with other people. One of the things I love about being in the short-term rental business is I can help other people get good income as well. I don't employ people, right, because these are contractors, but I'm able to provide additional income for other people. You have to have that mindset in business. Get out of the mindset of you're trying to create all the wealth for yourself. You can't ever build a business like that. And people that have that mindset of thinking, hey, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do the cleaning, I'm gonna do the decorating, I'm gonna do all this, you're gonna try to hoard all the money, ultimately you will end up failing because it will become too much for you. So have a mindset of abundance and be like, hey, I'm gonna have this business, but part of this business is gonna be me elevating other people because I'm gonna share this with them. I'm telling you, if you get that mindset, your business will take off, because when you share with other people in your business and other people have accountability of your business, it doesn't put it all on you, and you will be surprised how much responsibility others will take on your business and take pride in your business when you start doing that. So get out of the mindset that all of the money needs to come in your pocket. Short-term rental is a game of scale, right? You're not trying to get rich off of one property. If you have that mindset, you will fail. You need to be like, hey, I just need to make this off of this, and then I need to scale. And then you could get more properties. And then if you put the right processes in place with the right properties in the right locations, you could definitely make it happen. All right. So now here, if you made it to the end, go ahead and like this video right now and drop a comment in here if you agree with my top 3 things. Now, like I told you guys before, I was gonna give you a bonus thing to help you survive. And that bonus thing is get you a short-term rental mentor. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to sell a mentorship, because I'm absolutely not trying to do that. But I will tell you, if you get a short-term rental mentor that already understands all the automations, that already understands all the pitfalls, it will help you save and make more money. Because the reason why I say that is, you got to think about it like this. If you go and then you invest all of this money into a short-term rental business, right? You go out there and you buy all the furniture, you go out there and you sign all these leases, and then you start messing up your property, you could destroy your business right from the beginning. You can literally destroy your business with just a couple of bad reviews right in the beginning. If you had a mentor, you could have prevented some of those pitfalls. And so sometimes a mentor is a good thing. And for a business like this, you definitely should get a mentor or somebody that has had some success in this business, and make sure that their strategy is similar to the one that you want to implement, so they can understand what you're trying to do. Because all mentors aren't created equal, and they all aren't scaling the right way. So make sure they align with your interests. It's not a bad thing. So again, if you like content like this, please subscribe to my channel, and hey, don't forget, keep running those plays. Peace.